Okay, here we go. So we're using the bottom. This is page 8 to start. Okay, it looks kind of, let me show you the top of it so we make sure we're all on the right page. It says classwork 5.2 level 1. It's 5.2 because we're on our second standard. Okay, our first standard, you're going to get your check back today, your standard check back. See where that was at. And this is our second standard. So our second standard has everything to do with the slope and the intercept. Slope and the intercept, okay? So down here on the bottom, let's start by just marking. So take your writing utensil and let's mark the intercept. Okay, so the Y-intercept on each one of the pictures. So I just put a dot on each one of those, and then let's write out the Y-intercept. So our Y-intercept for this one is 0 over 2 up. That's our Y-intercept. Our Y-intercept on this one is also 0, 2. But on the third one, the Y-intercept is not 0, 2. It's just 1. So 0, 1. Okay? So that's where we're going to start. When we do the second part of this, which is actually our level that we're going to practice today, that is really important that we're going to put that dot on the graph first. So we're going to pull the Y-intercept out of the equation, and we're going to put that dot on there. Okay, the second part of this is you need to travel along the line until you see a nice point. Do you remember this from Friday? So you're going to slide along this line. Okay, eyes up because you got to see this part. Slide along the line until you cross at a nice corner of the box. Okay, so as I slide along, right here is a nice corner. Okay, so I'm going to put another dot there. So you actually need to find your dots. So there's another dot. Okay, and now we're going to count up and over. When you get your quiz back, your standard check from the first standard, that is the first thing you're going to look at, is when you counted your slope, did you count up and then over? Okay? Did you go?
I did a different dot down there.
That's fine.
Okay.
Let's look at your dot in just a second. I'm going to write this out. Up 2 over 1. So up 2 over 1. Okay, did you do it this dot right here?
Mm-mm.
Down further?
I did 2, 2.
This one?
Yeah, that one.
Okay, so let's look at yours. Now, when you counted, did you start here?
I started at the bottom.
Started at this one? Perfect. Okay, so then when you counted up, and then you counted over.
Yep.
So that was up 4 over 2.
Yep.
Do you see how we actually got the same answer? Just reduced, right? So as long as you reduce yours, we have the same answer, and that's perfect. Okay? Now, she could have also done this. Okay? Maybe you don't like doing it the way I do. I hate going left, but maybe you don't mind going left, so maybe you did this. Maybe you went down, and then you went left. If you go down and left, your numbers would be -4 and -2. Okay? We're going to focus more on that in just a second, but -4 over -2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. Okay? Because negative divided by a negative is a positive. Okay, okay, next one.
Yep, next one.
Next one. Okay, slide along this line until you find a nice point. So I'm going to slide along until here. This is the only nice one on this picture.
I don't remember.
Count for me, down and over. How many do you count down? 5?
Over 1.
Over 1. And you have to make sure, because you went down, that 5 is
A negative.
negative. So we're going to go -5 over 1, because it's right 1. Okay, we're going to practice counting a lot of slopes today. So when you get your assessment back, you might be a little disappointed in your score for the assessment because of the fact that you counted incorrectly on one of the first ones, but remember you can always reassess that standard. And Friday would be a really good day to do that. Okay, last one. Let's slide along this graph here until you hit there. There it is. It's way down on that corner. And then we're going to count down.
5/4.
5 and 4? Okay, I'll trust you. Anybody else get that to second the notion that it's 5 and 4? Okay, thank you. Thank you for backing us up here. 5 and 4. So I'm going to go -5 and then 4. Okay, that's a little bit of a reminder of what we did on Friday.
Thanks for the reminder.
You're welcome. All right, turn the page. This is what's super important today. Okay, so we are now on page, I think we labeled this page 9.
Yep.
Sure. Okay, so page 9. This is what's important today. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This is level 3. This is how you get a 3. This is a level 3. This is how you get a 3 on this next assessment that's coming on Friday of this week. Okay? But if you don't know how to do this particular skill, eyes up, off your phones right here. If you don't know how to do this skill, you will not be able to pass level 1 of an upcoming standard. Okay? Because level 1 of an upcoming standard is you have to be able to graph 2 lines and tell where they intersect. If you can't graph the line, which is what this is, you won't be able to do that standard. So we want everybody to get to a level 3 on this standard for Friday. Okay? All right, so here we go. First thing you have to do is you have to look at this equation, which is also what we did on Friday, and you have to tell me what is the slope from that equation and what is the y-intercept.
Isn't this like what's next to the 2, or what's next to the x?
Yes. So if you forgot, here's a little reminder. The slope is the number by x, and the y-intercept is the other number. Okay? So what number is next to x? The 2. So I'm going to write that. We usually use an m for slope. So if you remember this, m equals, and then we go 2 over 1. Now the only reason I'm writing it that way is because then when we count rise, run, it'll be easier.
Yep.
Okay.
Agreed.
And then what is the y-intercept? The y-intercept is the point 0, comma, what number?
3.
Good, -3. Okay, let's practice that again. Just that part. We're not going to graph just yet. Let's practice just that part. So let's go down here and let's find the slope of this line. And let's find the y-intercept of this line. Okay, what number, this is kind of a trick question, it's an invisible one, it's an invisible number. What number is in front of the x? 1.
-1.
And it's actually a negative, so it's going to be -1 over 1. Now, if on a test you just wrote -1, I wouldn't count that wrong because you're not wrong. I'm writing it like this specifically for what we're about to do next. Okay, what's the y-intercept? 0, comma, 9.
So you have to do it like that.
Yeah, we're doing it just, honestly, all you have to do is you have to put it on the graph. But I'm writing it like this so you know where to put it on the graph. Okay, let's do these other 2 while we're at it, just to kind of get ahead of the game a little bit. So slope and the y-intercept. And if you can do this part that we're doing right now, just writing out the slope and the y-intercept, if you remember, that's your level 1.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
It's like free throw. It's like freebie. 1 over 5 is our slope. And then our y-intercept is this 2. So we're going to write 0, 2. Okay, last one, slope. And then we'll actually start doing our level 3 part.
If there's no like plus or minus whatever that y would be, that's just 0, right? It's just
Correct.
0.
If there's nothing there, what number stands for nothing? 0. So that means that there's a 0 on that backside right there. So the slope would be negative. Now, here's the other part. Okay, if you've tuned out for a second, tune back in. When it says negative 2 over 3, here's what I need you to do. I need you to put that negative sign up with the top number. I need you to put the negative sign with the top number. Okay, there's a reason. All right, I need you to put it with the top. What needs to happen is we're going to go negative 2 over 3 so that you don't go negative and then negative again. So you don't try to give that negative to 2 numbers. It just goes with the top. We're going to slide it to the top every time. And then my y-intercept is 0, 0. Okay, now we're actually going to graph it. So far, all we did is level 1. Okay? Our warm-up was level 2. Now we're ready for level 3. Okay? Okay, this is the super important part, so we're going to put our phones down. Wait for it till we're ready. Pencil's ready. Here we go. We're going to first put a dot right here. Let's put a dot at 0, negative 3. Let's put a dot at 0, negative 3. That's this right here. So your first job is to put a dot on the y-axis at your y-intercept. So is it possible that when you're graphing this, that you can find this number without writing it down? So that's this number right here. So we put a dot at negative 3. Then, from there, you need to go up, you need to rise 2, and run 1. So you need to go up 2 over 1 and put another dot. Up 2 over 1. If you have space on the graph, just do it one more time. Up 2 over 1. There's another dot. Okay, now connect them. And do you remember me saying last week, everything we do in this unit is going to have arrows on both ends. Line through it, arrows on both ends. Because this is all real numbers. Everything we graph will be all real numbers. Okay, let's do it again. So you start by putting a dot on the y-axis, and then you count your slope. Dot on the y-axis, count your slope. Dot on the y-axis, count your slope. Okay? Okay, let's go over to B. I'm going to start by putting a dot on 2 on the y-axis.
Now you rise 1 over 5.
Yep, we're going to go up 1 and to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did you go the wrong way? Now, if you have space to do it again, do it again. But this one we don't have space, right? So we're good. So we connect with arrows on the end. Okay. If you want to make your line like straight, because you're not very good at drawing that straight line, if you want to grab your student ID or the side of your phone case, can help you draw that straight line. Okay. Let's go again. Okay, so I'm going to first put my dot at 9. Now, I tricked you with this one because the graph goes up by 2. Did you notice that?
Oh, so it's got to be in the middle.
Yeah, so we go 2, 4, 6, 8. We're going to go in the middle. This is going to be super tricky. This is going to be super tricky. We're going to go down 1 over 1, but this goes by 2s.
I got it. I already got it now. I already got it. Okay.
Down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. Down 1 over 1. So that's kind of tricky because it goes by 2's. Sorry about that really yucky graph. Okay, let's connect the dots. Let's go again. Okay, last one. Last one we're going to do together, and then there's a couple of them you'll do by yourself, okay? Okay, so this next one, we're going to start at 0, 0. So that's right in the middle. Put a dot right. Thanks for that. Right at 0, 0.
You go up 2, then over 3.
No.
Yeah.
Minus, go down 2.
Oh, yeah.
Go left 3.
So we're going to go down 2.
You go right.
Oh, wait, no. I thought
Negative
it
2.
said both negative.
No, only one of them. That's why we only write the
no.
negative. That's why we only write the negative with the top number, so that we know that only the top number is going to be negative. Again, I don't like going left, so I will always give my negative to the top number and the top number only. So I go down and to the right. Now, we will run into a time when there's not enough spaces to go down and right.
You get 3 dots on the board.
Okay, so I can go down 2, over 3, and there is space to do that again.
Yep, 2.
And that's right there.
Ooh. Or 3 dots.
Why?
Okay, so take some time.
Clem ground.
We'll go E, F, G, and H. So take some time to practice those 4, and then we'll come back together and we'll get our standard checks back.
Another dot.
It's like lemon, easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
I can put another dot.
You don't.